Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Another podcast. We have a really special guest with you tonight. His name is Jeff Yarbrough. He's a versatile and accomplished figure in the film industry. He's known for his work as a cinematographer, actor, and member of the camera and electrical department. He has contributed to various projects, including Get the Part in 2017, A Fixer Upper, and If It Wasn't for the Wind. Jeff's journey in the film industry began with a passion for storytelling and a keen eye for visual aesthetics. Over the years, he has honed his skills in cinematography, capturing compelling visuals that enhance the narrative of each project he undertakes. His dedication to his craft has earned him recognition and respect within the industry. In addition to his work behind the camera, Jeff has also showcased his talent as an actor in several productions. His diverse skill set allows him to contribute to various aspects of filmmaking, making him a valuable asset to any project. Jeff, along with his wife, Sherry Thrower Yarbrough, runs Yarbrough Media Productions, a company that provides comprehensive film and music production services. Their mantra, from concept to completion, reflects their commitment to delivering high quality content. Jeff's career is a testament to his versatility, creativity, and dedication to the art of filmmaking. His notable projects include Get the Part of the aforementioned 2017, A Fixer Upper, If It Wasn't for the Wind, Treasure Master, a couple years ago, Somewhere Over the Rainbow by the Hammond Brothers, Hope Lives in Hohenwald? Is that how you pronounce it? Hohenwald?
Hohenwald.
Hohenwald. Souls Collide, Block Party, Christmas Ride, Missionary's Mansion, and his acting debuts were in Shining Spirit as a voice role, Hush, one called One Man's Bed, Mission Improbable, Block Party, Christmas Ride, and believe it or not, as Cameron Electrical Department, Dante's Inferni, which is post production, Dante's Paradisus, which is post production, Dante's Purgatorium, post production. Looking forward to watching these ones. Dawn at Dominion, Como Hunt Club, and In Your Corner with Carrie Farr. Thank you. Welcome to the show, Jeff. Pleased to meet you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that glowing review, and it's good to be here with you.
You're welcome. It's nice to meet you. Nice to talk to you. Can't wait to speak with you. Um, can you tell us in the audience what inspired you to pursue a career in cinematography?
Well, many years ago, I had been dabbling in the local arts council and some theater productions and things like that. And before I really knew it, I was in too deep to get out of it. So I was president of a community art council, as well as a president of a historic theater, the historic Ruffin Theater in Tennessee, and 600 at the time it was a 640 seat 1920s Art Deco theater. So I was president there and doing all kinds of productions, and I was kind of the tech guru, and a lot of people would come in to film this, that, and the other, and I would help them with the technical aspects of whatever they were doing, trying to help do stuff. And a friend reached out to me, and after doing some of that, and a friend reached out to me that owned a record label and said, I have an artist coming in from Hot Springs that I want you to shoot his music video. I'm like, excuse me? He said, yep, I want you to do it. I've seen what you do. I love your creativity. It's yours. So I had my sons to help me. We shot that. And I looked at my boys and I was like, this is fun. I like this. I was bitten. So we were just going to hang loose, and my sons and I were going to do some music videos from time to time because that's kind of easy. You get a soundtrack and you don't have to worry about sound and things like that. Just, capture some interesting video of the artist in different locations doing different things. So we were going to do that. And I guess it was, I don't know, 3 or 4 weeks later, one of my friends in Memphis said, oh, yeah, contact Jeff. He will shoot your feature length film for you. And so I was like, excuse me, what? So I waded off. No, I didn't wade. I don't believe in wading. I dove off in the deep end, literally pulled the camera out of the box and started filming a feature length faith based film in the Memphis area. Um, and it was moments of sheer genius with many, many, many minutes of just bad footage. So I was really learning. And then I started studying. Uh, I'm a self-taught kind of person, did not pursue the college degree thing. I started studying with the best shooters around, and I started volunteering on their sets, grip or whatever, working my way up to key grip and some of the productions, and being able to study over their shoulder what they were doing. And I'm somewhat like a sponge. I started absorbing and started getting deeper and deeper, and so here I am. You know, I'm a Black Magic cinema camera guy, so I've got two Black Magic 6Ks, three GoPro style action cameras, two Canons, and way too many lenses, way too many lights, way too many things. But you know how that goes. You just kind of keep adding. So, and yes, I'm bitten. I love to tell a story. I love to be able to look at someone's concept sketched out on a napkin and then bring some crazy things, creativity or whatever, or throw in some things they never thought about to really spice things up and provide some uh, some flavor to those situations. Case in point, when I shot Christmas Ride way back, I guess that was what, 2013.
Hmm.
Um, I was able to lean on some friends of mine that I knew. That one guy had an airplane at the airport, so we used that in a scene that the
Mm.
writer director had never thought of. There was a scene about some PTSD from one of the former soldiers that was there. So I called my buddy over at the National Guard Armory. He had a tank sitting there. I said, "Can we use your tank?" He said, "What?" So I told him what we were doing, and he was like, "Hey, that sounds like fun. Yeah." And so he was there on site with. We didn't move the tank. We just used it in a static situation there on their premises. But still, it made some great footage. A big traveling tour bus and things like that. So um, one of my things is being able to bring uh, things that people have may not have thought about into a film situation, whether it's industrial videos. I come from a 30 plus year background in the automotive industry, owning transmission shops. So I kind of view everything kind of from a technical background, and building transmissions all my life has given me some technical expertise. And a lot of times that helps me greatly on the film set, being able to react to whatever happens and bring some real creativity there.
That's very interesting, Jeff. So you're saying you're from a automotive industry and you use that to be part of your job. That's interesting. So when you were younger, when you were a child or a kid, did you watch movies that you always wonder how they were done and why at the end of the credits you have like the photography, the cinematographer, and you're thinking, why do they need all these people and like the scrolling credits just to do that one movie? Did you ever think of that?
I did. I
Same,
did.
same
And
here. Yeah.
some of the animated stuff and some of the special effects stuff, it's
Yeah.
like, why did they need thousands and thousands of people?
Hmm.
All these names that keep scrolling across. And now it's perfectly clear they needed every one of those people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you give me an idea what Missionary's Mansion was like to shoot? Um,
That was very interesting. That was a really loose script. It allowed for a lot of improv, and basically, it was about a mansion that someone had donated to missionaries that came back from being in different places, and it was haunted. So there was some camera play there to show somebody being able to not be all there and things like that, and so that's what that was about. It was fun to shoot. It was challenging in the early days because that was some of my earlier stuff, and just trying to make in the camera what the director wanted was a challenge, and it pushed me. So I was like, wow, that's a good education.
yeah, talking about Christmas Ride, not only were you the cinematographer of that movie, but you're also acting in that movie. Why did you want to do that?
I had, being from the theater, I had uh, some experience there uh, on the stage, as well as helping with directors and producers there, and knowing what was needed. And when the writer director, Miss Karen Francis, had told me that about the part of Richard. Um, and of course, I read through the script dozens of times, and I thought, hey, I would like to do this. The scenes where he appears, this would be a good time for me to be able to use, a second camera person or something like that to be able to squeeze a little screen time in that. So, and she was like, "That's great. Yeah, you would be a good Richard. So that would be perfect." So, um, it was fun.
I've spoken to a director before, and she says that she acts in her movies, and she's saying, "I'll never direct my own acting. It's like it's very difficult." Do you find being a cinematographer and acting in the same movie that you're cinematographying um, difficult, or do you find that both you kind of balance out?
I would not. Probably would not act in a movie that I was shooting if it was a major part. That to me, that's too many hats to wear. That's too much being able to switch from technical camera light lens over to being able to perform a character accurately. So uh, I I've tried to stay away from little bit pieces that I've done here and there. Hope lives in Hohenwald. I did play a detective in that comes to tell their family about something that happened. A small part, of course. Rob Blair was our DP, and so and I was with him, under him on the camera situation. So that was pretty easy there. But I try to focus. If I'm on the camera, then that usually needs to be my main focus, and I'll tinker with some bit pieces here and there, but not a major role.
Can you tell the audience? I know I want to reiterate. Can you tell people exactly what a cinematographer is?
Well, it's the director of photography. There's some overlap, a lot of overlap there. I am not sure exactly what the dictionary definition is, but when you're shooting, uh, when you're shooting footage that is intended to be cinematic, and possibly going to the big cinema, then to me that's what that would mean. Um, it's very similar and interchangeable in most respects, from what I can tell, is between director of photography and cinematographer. So it's the person that brings the director's vision to life and takes what that director says they want to see and make sure that it's on the film or on the hard drive.
And you definitely don't have any. You're not part of the editing process, huh?
Yes, I do quite a bit of editing.
Okay.
And the two screens that you see behind me are part of my editing machinery, as well as the screen up top and a couple of other computers you can't see over here. So most of my own projects, I do all the editing on. We're very proud of Two Pink Lines that we just brought out here a few weeks ago. This was a song that was written by a lady approached my wife Sherry, and she wanted to do a tribute for her mom. This girl's 20 years old, and back when she was born, her mom was a single parent school
Mm.
teacher in a small, I guess you would have to say, a small religious community. And so she could have had an abortion and not had her baby, but she chose to keep her baby and go through whatever it took. And of course, later she married her husband, married the guy, and it's a happy story. This girl wanted to write her mom a song in tribute called Two Pink Lines, and so they collaborated on the song. And when the song when they got done with the song, we were like, this needs to be a music video slash uh, slash video. Uh, I wrote a script. Basically, 99% of that script is right from their testimony. We cast it with Michelle King up in Illinois with Beyond the Shores Media. She was our casting. director as well as coach, acting coach, and several other things. And we just acted the whole thing out. When the girl found out she's pregnant, and she talked to her dad, and her mom went to pieces, and yeah, it was very powerful. And everybody that has seen that has mentioned how emotional that is. So it's 5 minutes of live action that we filmed, part in Jacksonville, Florida, and part here in Chattanooga area, and then it goes right into the music video that was shot in both places. So, and Two Pink Lines is on all streaming media right now under the Grove Jesus Music, which is over there somewhere, and all my screens are popping up. But my my wife's group is the Grove Jesus Music. May not be able to see that there. So that's on all streaming platforms. And so we've had very good reception to the video. It is definitely pro-life, and it's a very happy story to something that could have been sad, So we're grateful to be a part of that. I have a couple of other projects similar to this about a song and some acting that's going to be involved in it that are in pre-production. Various stories that people have approached us about doing. So that's exciting, and I love being able to tell people's story like that, and that's a lot of
I like
fun.
that. That's awesome. So out of Missionary Mansions, Christmas Ride, Block Party, Souls Collide, Hope Lives, and Hohenwald, Somewhere Over the Rainbow, Treasure Hunter, If It Wasn't for the Wind, Fixer Upper, and Get the Part, which one is your favorite?
Oh wow. Um, Usually my favorite is the last one that the last one I did.
Oh,
Because if I'm not learning, every project I'm learning. Every project I'm studying. I'm trying to do things better, different, and so I guess probably yeah. I think Treasure Hunter was a lot of fun. I actually got to play. Uh, I got to. I guess, direct more on that particular job. And my task was to direct all the children. So there was probably 20 kids. And after having 7 children myself that are all grown
wow.
now, I kind of relate to kids pretty well most of the time. So I just said, "Hey, I will take care of the kids, and you guys do what you need to do." When it came time to the shots, and I went back to camera, but they started calling me the Pied Piper because I was getting those kids to do whatever we needed them to do. So I was like, I just kind of treated them like me. I'm kind of a big kid myself, so that was pretty enjoyable. But that was Treasure Hunter, a music video by Emma Ohm. That was really cool. But another fun one was When the Wind Blows that you're talking about. That is a feature-length film, and one of the writers and the director is Danny Ramsey out of Nashville, and that is a Civil War period piece.
Hmm.
And so we're dealing with all kinds of Civil War. I actually had a small part in that as well. I had a Union Army general's outfit that
Wow.
wore, and sword and the hat and the suit and everything, and got to ride up on a horse and find out what's going on in this town, and then disperse my men to go do stuff. So another small part that I got to play in that, but that was a fun shoot because it wasn't he was self-funding it, so we shot every 2 or 3 weeks, like on a weekend. So it wasn't like a load it all up, go, do this for 10 days or 30 days or whatever. It's really spread out, which was very interesting to me. It had its own hardships, but it was a lot of fun because, we would all show up, and all these people in period clothing for Civil War era stuff was always fun to work with.
Do you prefer to be in front of the camera or behind the camera, Jeff?
That kind of depends on the project. Probably mostly behind the camera.
Hmm.
Uh, but certain situations come up, and you know I'm fascinated by the whole world of film, both sides actually. So um, I like to dabble in both sides.
Yeah, you also have camera and electrical department. Isn't that cinematography as well? Can't that be linked in the same category? or no?
Yes, that was. I don't know why that one got categorized like that, but yeah, that's basically what that is.
So Dante's Inferni and Dante's Paradisus and Dante's Purgatorium, what exactly in post production? What are they about?
That is Dante's Inferno, which was an Italian, I guess it's Greek mythology and those kinds of things. And Dante goes down through the 9 levels of Hades and things like that, and meets all the creatures and things like that. So the he had uh, different sections where different actors. Eric Roberts is in it. Some very well-known actors are in that, and they're
Hmm.
basically sitting in front of a green screen and talking about Dante's journey through the 9 levels, the 9 areas of Middle Earth or whatever underneath the earth. And so I was able to film one of our local somewhat famous actresses, Angela Carrot. She's been in some pretty big movies. And so she told Mr. Boris Acosta from California that, to keep her from having to fly to California to be on camera, that, we could do it. So we just set up a green screen in her facilities and filmed her there and sent it to him. And he was tickled. And the first, the first iteration of that project went to the Cannes Film Festival. I think, I guess it was 3 or 4 years ago, and he is redoing it. Some of the other names where he is redoing that and going to send it back to Cannes again. So that's it's cool to be able to have a piece of footage that went to the Cannes Film Festival. I have not been able to go there myself yet, but there's always something else happening. So one of these days I'll get over there.
It sounds like you're having fun being a cinematographer, an actor, even being part of this new venture that you and your wife Sherry have. It's amazing.
Yes, I can't say enough about being able to meet her. I was after being divorced several years ago, I was just not wanting to get married, not wanting anything like that. And oh my goodness, I met her at a film festival out at the Johnny Cash farm in Nashville area, and I was smitten. I was like, wow.
Hmm.
She owns a record label. She's a music producer in Nashville. She trains people to go on American Idol and The Voice.
Mhm.
Well, technically, I'm supposed to say reality-based TV shows. So, but the producers have her phone number in their phone, and they comment on her some stuff. These are and they call her all the time. Once a year, I guess, or sometimes they'll call her and say, "Who you got? We have not found our next American Idol, or we have not found our star yet. Who you got?" And her students go directly to director. They don't have to go through cattle call and all this kind of stuff. So she's an amazing woman. I was smitten. So 6 weeks after I met her, I proposed, and 6 weeks after that, we got married at the Johnny Cash farm where I first met her, and it
Wow.
has been a just an amazing time. We have so many similarities in so many areas where we're alongside of each other. Two pink lines. We went round and around. If I may be so transparent with you, we went around and around with some of the sections of two pink lines because this was her vision and this was my vision. So we finally got it together and said, "All right, look, we're going to work this out. This is the way it's going to." And basically I let her. I mean, it was her story. So I said, "All right, let's do it like you want it. That's fine with me. This is the way I'd rather do it, but you want it that way. Let's do it." And and it worked out good. And so, yeah, she's just the most amazing thing I've ever met. So I love being able to take care of her, and love having her with me on set. She's she always likes to be part of things like that, and I got to go with her not 3 or 4 months ago. She took a group of students to um, open a show at Carnegie Hall,
Hmm.
which is huge, and I was able to go with her there and just be part of that, and that was just amazing. And I know you're going to have her on soon, and be able
Hmm.
to talk about all that good stuff. Carnegie Hall, she's been to Radio City Music Hall. She was the first person to actually take a group of young kids. I think they were like third, fourth, fifth graders, a whole group of 120 to Radio City Music Hall in New York City and open the show for the Rockettes. It's
Hmm.
just
Yeah.
uh,
Wow.
things this woman has done is just amazing. So love her to death, and I look forward to spending the next 30, 40, 50 years just going all over the place with her, filming stuff and doing music and things like that. And she got into composing for film, and that's why I met her at that film festival. So I was there, helping with the film festival festivities and things like that. I was there with my 41-foot toy hauler RV that I had fitted out for mobile film production. So yeah, it was a lot of fun, and we do have wherever we go, it's got to be fun, got to be laughing. I keep her laughing all the time, keep her happy.
That I love stories like that, Jeff. I really do. I just wish my relationships were like that. Anyway, that's a different story. Um, yeah, wow. So, Jeff, how do you approach the visual storytelling aspect of your projects?
Um, I like to work very closely with the creator. If I'm given full reign to create, that's one thing. But a lot of times, people approach me with a story and they have this certain look and this is what they want and things like that. So I like to really get inside their brain to see what they see, whether on paper or through visuals, whatever. I want to see exactly what they want. And if I can't come alongside that and add something to it, then I feel like a failure. If I cannot come and say, okay, this is what you want now, if we do it like this can be more grand or bigger or brighter or something. And, uh, you know, people usually 99% of the time they're like, oh, wow, I didn't think about that. And yeah, let's do that. I got a battle tank over here, or I've got an airplane, or, whatever, something like
Hmm.
that. So I think that is probably one of my biggest strengths is being able to get into their head and see exactly what they want, and then accentuate that and flavor that, more than what they anticipated. So that's what I really enjoy.
So that would be if you're walking down the street and you see some guy fall out of a 16th floor building, land on a truck, and gets up and brushes him down and says, "Oh, hi, sir. Sorry." And I wish you didn't see that one. Walk out. There's a story in that.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely the story of that. Yeah,
There you go. Visual storytelling.
right, right.
So, what's the most challenging project you've worked on and why?
Oh, wow. The most challenging, I guess probably back in the earlier days, the most challenging was the first thing that I filmed, Christmas Ride, which was a feature. Our hands were tied in many areas on what we could do and not do due to time constraints and budget requirements and a whole bunch of things there. And that was probably a hard one because we filmed this was a full length feature film that we filmed in 8 weeks only on evenings and weekends.
Wow.
So we could only film on certain evenings and weekends, and we filmed the whole thing in 8 weeks. So,
Nice.
and some of that was in the middle of winter when it was 20 and 30 degrees, and so that was probably one of the hardest things that I did. That was, um,
Wow. How do you balance your roles as a cinematographer and actor? Like, how do you deal with your mental health? There must be some issue with having to do this, having to do that, and you're like, oh.
yeah. Well, I am in certain parts of in certain parts of my life. I'm type A and driven, and want to go. But then there's another big part of me that is kind of a crazy blend between my parents. My dad was very type A driven. My mom was type B, laid back, calm, collected. House on fire, no big deal. Move quietly, safely out the door. None of this. So I'm blended like that, and my sweet Sherry, she's more on the side of type A driven. Let's go, 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 and uh, and I'm like, well, hold on. we don't have to go that fast. Let's go, but let's not go that fast. So, um, I it depends on the role as far as the difference between acting and shooting. It depends on the project. Certain projects I would be very interested in doing the acting part. If it's a part that I can really sink my teeth into and feel that I can do like that. But then the rest of the time, it's like, okay, I'll stick behind the camera. We've got this deadline to meet. Let's start on it early. I work good under pressure, I feel, but I'd rather not. I'm too lazy to work under pressure. Okay, my deadline's next week. I'm going to start today and do what I can so that when next week gets here, I can coast. So I don't know if it's laziness because I want to coast into the end, or if it's just because I want to get it done as quickly as possible.
Well, I'm going to ask you this question now and not at the end since it's hot right now. So I've seen a lot of great AI videos that use cinematography with the camera movements and rotation simply by using prompts. And you get this beautiful, beautiful cinematography, this really beautiful, um, it's like it was done with CGI, whatever. What are your feelings on of AI and movie making?
I think that AI is getting to the point to where we do not need camera people. We do not need actors. We do not need a set. We do not need location. And I was speaking to one of my dear friends and very much look up to Mr. Andy Dean in the Memphis area. He's Dean Video. He's uh, I've looked up to him for a long time, and he and I were discussing the other day about the newest AI that you do not, you just go into AI and say, okay, I want to see a man on a horse, 100 feet away in the desert,
Hmm.
and with a few commands, you can make that happen, and looks real.
Hmm.
So that's what we're facing. Um, Here several years ago, when movies moved from film to digital, and we started having digital cameras came out. That's when I actually got into film. I did not load the big Panasonic reels with film and have to
Oh, wow.
make all that. I came in after the digital age, so I didn't have to see all that. Now, and in the last few years, prices are coming down in cameras, and part of the reason that I went with uh, Black Magic pocket cinema cameras and
Hmm.
6K cameras is because I know a lot of shooters that cinematographers, big name cinematographers that love the Black Magics. There's some things that you need to do to make them uh, look really good on a big screen. But granted, right now, a lot of my stuff is not on the big screen. But that's probably going to change next year. But anyway, can't talk about that right now. But anyway, so yeah, the playing field got leveled, with the advent of all these cameras. And certainly, this phone that I've got up here, and these new cell phones that we've got have cameras that can create some incredible scenes just with a phone. So that leveled the playing field, and there was less of a dichotomy between the great movie makers and people with a modest budget, because that's all fixing to change again, I think, with AI and the ability to just go into a room with a big computer and forget the cameras, forget the lights, forget forget the grips, forget crafty. We can't forget crafty,
And you can't give any of those awards to an AI either.
That's right. That's right. So I really think that there's going to be some problems as that comes aboard, but it's on the way. I mean, you can get AI to write a country song that sounds as good as anything in Nashville, but of course, Tim Whipperman and some of those people are already on top of this and blocking it so that AI cannot write songs for people. If you got a song, you got to be the one to write it so that you can get the royalties and not an AI generated song. I think there's going to be some of that kind of thing with cinematography, and certainly there's going to be people that don't care to compete or don't care about that. And certainly there's already AI movies that you can see on YouTube that are out, and they're getting better and better. So probably in our lifetime, we will see complete feature length films that are blockbusters that never saw the light of day. The crew never went on location. There was no crew. It's a team of computer experts. So I think that's what's coming. It'll be a long time before I'm going to hang my camera up. It's going to be a long time before that's outdated, but I think that's the cusp of the wave that's headed towards us.
Yeah, boss. What you got? Take him out. Do you want him dead or alive? It's your choice. My pleasure.
Let's go hit downtown.
Nah, he did strike out.
No, I didn't, man. No, I didn't. It's cool.
Oh,
It's cool. I just think we can go to
All right,
Footsies,
let's
man.
go.
Great. Y'all live in this neighborhood?
No, we're visiting.
just passing
We're
through.
visiting.
Just
Yeah,
passing
yeah.
through.
they're just here for
Yeah,
a
we
party,
were invited
man,
to
you know.
the cookout.
Crash and burn.
Say yeah, yeah.
Well, let's see. How did the last job that you went out on? How did that work out? The insurance office?
Oh, that didn't really work out. That insurance thing.
It didn't.
Do you need for anything? Anything at all? Can I get anything?
Oh no, just see.
I'm going to the produce stand, and I'm gonna talk to that little man. We're gonna be eating so grand when I return from the produce stand.
So, Jeff, how did you ensure that the visual narrative of Hope Lives in Hohenwald feel true to the community's character and history? AI can't take care of that part. That would be something that only a human could do.
Yeah, Hope Lives in Hohenwald was a very unique documentary that we did about 12 churches that got together in the community of Hohenwald, Tennessee, with a bad drug problem in their community. And they banded together, locked arms. They crossed the boundaries of religion and faith, and they built a program to help people and save lives and put their community back together. And it was fascinating to see. I was pleasantly surprised, and definitely AI couldn't do something like that. I mean, the human emotion in that was just amazing. HopeLivesInHohenwald.com. People can see it there if they'd like to see that. And it's definitely a program that could be emulated in other cities. And it is a program that changes lives. And mostly this group started with a group of guys. And I was waiting to see, a little bit of skeptic in me. And I was kind of waiting to see, all right, how much of this is going to be fake? Because, you want to hope it's all for real. But, sometimes on some of those drug programs, they don't work as good. This program has very, very good success rate. And these guys, the ones that we talked to, which quite a few of them, they were committed. They were committed to that. They were studying the Bible. They were learning things that were helping them with their whole life, putting their life back together. I was very impressed with that. And you're right. That is something that AI is not going to be able to do. The human side of those kinds of things is always going to be needed.
What about the natural lighting? What part did that play in enhancing the realism and intimacy of those scenes?
We did use a lot of natural lighting. We supplemented when we needed to, but we definitely wanted to keep a real organic feel to that production. And everybody said that they liked that. It made it look and feel true to life and not as Hollywood produced kind of thing.
Yeah. So, how did your collaboration with the director and other crew members contribute to the cohesive storytelling of Hope Lives in Hohenwald?
It was a lot of fun. There was the whole team. We went to Hohenwald for several days, so we spent a lot of time hammering out. There was some scripting that Tanya did on some of the scenes. We had some pieces of live action that we did in there, as well as the interviews with the people there. So it was a fun collaboration of seeing what script she had for that scene or that day or whatever. It was a lot of hard work. We filmed a lot of stuff really quick. There was one day, that we filmed 7 different scenes, 7 different locations, and set up and filmed in one day. And I mean, that was, we needed to do that through some constraints that we had going. So we were able to do it, and we were like, there's no way we're going to get this done. But we did. We threw it together. We worked together as a team, and it was tough, but we got it done.
How do you create an emotional connection between the audience and the subjects of your documentaries?
A lot of times, especially on Two Pink Lines that we talked about earlier, that connection is very easy to make because of the subject matter. So sometimes when you have subject matter that is a very emotional draw or an emotional pull on the heart, that's easier to get the connection. And if it's not something that is as emotional, then it comes up to the script writing, and it comes up to the cinematography, the lighting, and all these things to be able to enhance the emotion. So that is the prime directive, being able to get an emotional response from the subjects.
Okay, so you're working on these documentaries. You're an actor. You're dealing with everything. Is there a favorite piece of equipment that you love to work with, and why is that?
I guess probably the camera, of course. I'm a big fan of the Blackmagic pocket cinema cameras. As we stated before, they have really leveled the field and given um, uh, filmmakers that don't have an ARRI, don't have a Panasonic, ARRI's, $200,000-$300,000. Some of these very expensive cameras, we don't have to. Now, certainly, I use my cameras for my projects, and I give the opportunity for my the people that hire me to use whatever cameras, and of course the big thing to do in the camera world is just go rent a camera, then give it back when you're done, and that's a pretty cost-effective thing to do. But if my people want to save money and use my equipment, then the Blackmagic does a good job. So I really like the Blackmagic 6K cameras. I guess I kind of got used to them, so I like that. One of my favorite pieces to use is the slider, and I have several different sliders that are in stock here. I like the battery-operated slider because you can put the camera on that and just push play, push record on the camera and turn the slider on, and so it's slowly, whatever speed you select in your app. It'll sit there and it will keep you on that subject. So, and I use that a lot for B-roll or second camera, third camera, something like that. So I can turn that on over here and have shooting at the subject while my other camera's over here, and I'm able to zoom in or whatever I'm doing on the other camera on a multi-camera shoot. So I like the sliders.
So, okay, the sliders, yeah. There's another camera. It's $25,000 thing. It's called the Red Line or something. Red something.
Some of the red cameras, yeah.
Yeah.
I've had some experience with those. Very good cameras. The earlier ones got pretty hot sometimes, but they got that figured out after I did Christmas Ride. No, let's see, before. think it was before I did Christmas Ride. I assisted a film crew that came into the small town that I was at in West Tennessee, and they had a red camera. And so I assisted the writer director with a lot of his scenes, and got to play with that red camera quite a bit. Now they've got the Red Dragon. They've got
Mhm.
several different models. Very nice cameras.
Yeah. So how do you collaborate with directors to achieve their vision? How does that work?
We get the script. We take a look at, I want to know, since the director's in charge, I want to know what their vision is for, certainly for every scene, what look they're going for, what feel they're going for, what nuances do they see, and then of course, my creativity plugs into their creativity, and then we're able to temper out, a layout for this scene, or for those pages of dialogue, or for this particular location. We're going for an earth tone, so we've got muted lights, and more tungsten, and a darker look, because the subject matter here is dark. So I like to be able to, again, get in their head, see what they see what they want to see behind the camera, and then I want to give it to them.
Yeah, I know we were discussing about you and Sherry and how you came up with the Yarbrough Media Productions. What was your motivation for that? And how was it started?
Well, actually, I have had Yarbrough Media Productions for a long time, but with her being involved, of course, she has Sherry Productions for her music productions, and she has the Grove Jesus Music, that is her record label. So she's got all of these different outlets that she has, websites and stuff like that. So when she plugged in with me on this, we were able to advertise a one-stop shop for, sketch it on the napkin all the way up to putting it on the big screen. So if you can sketch it on a napkin, then we can collaborate with my teams that I know, and with her and the teams that she knows. Then we're able to go from all the way from concept to creation, depending on the budget, as big as you want it to be. So she definitely has brought a huge amount of flexibility into Yarbrough Media Productions, and um, a huge area that was untouched before. I've dabbled in music and played music all my life: upright bass, electric bass, guitar, keys, things like that. But more than that, most of the time I was a vocalist. But now with her on board, she can bring orchestration in. She has all of these artists that she can bring in, that is part of the Grove Jesus Music group. And, they can write the song. And they can compose music for a movie.
Hmm. So how do you stay updated with the latest trends and technologies in cinematography, Jeff?
That is a constant process of staying on the internet, and the groups that I belong to, the technical groups, the cinematography groups. There is always somebody there doing something that's like, wow, that is cool. I got to try that. So that is a constant process of staying on top of the latest trends in cinematography, uh, videography, things like that.
So how do you prepare for a shoot, like from pre-production to post-production? Is that simple?
It depends on the concept, depends on the client, what we're dealing with. If we're doing like, I do some industrial video type stuff. Of course, drawing from my background in the transmission industry, that is a wheelhouse that definitely I enjoy. So if it's some kind of a documentary, or some kind of a industrial video, whether it's industrial training,
Mhm.
or if it's products that are industrial in nature, then I feel I have a leg up on some cinematography companies, movie companies, because of my background in that world. But it kind of depends on their vision, how big a vision they have, what their end result wants to be. And then from there, we work backwards. Okay, who is your intended audience? which any filmmaker is going to need to know that. Who is your intended audience? Who are you shooting this for? Is it for 10-year-olds? It's going to be totally different than adults, so it's all those kinds of questions. So once you look at the end result that you want, then let's go back and start at the beginning. And to get there, this is where we need to start. We need to collaborate from the napkin sketching over into some storyboarding on the computer, where we're putting storyboard together, and deciding what kind of set you want to film in. Do you want this on a green screen? Do you want do you want us to hire actors and actresses and things like that? So it's as big as what they it will be as big as what they want it to be.
So how do you handle creative differences on set? Like you don't get along with anybody, or like you don't get along with somebody. How do you handle that?
It depends on the position. Typically, I am the guy on set that gets along with everybody. And if someone points out, hey, oh, so-and-so over there, he's a grump. You're not going to get anything out of him. He's going to be him or her or whatever. It can be anybody. Then I make it a point to go overboard and be nice to them, and try to listen to them. And I mean, I haven't had to do this yet, but the option is there. If it's my set, if it's my production, and there's somebody that's hard to work with, they can get asked to go home. Stop by the office and pick up your check and go home. But most of the time, we don't have to do that. And we surround ourselves. We kind of avoid a lot of that by knowing who we're working with. There's a lot of people, Nashville, New York, Austin, here in Chattanooga area. We have a lot of people. Jacksonville. We've got a pretty good network of friends that we have worked with before. And depending on the production, it's just a phone call. Hey, we're doing this. Are you in? Yeah. So that kind of thing. So we've done it long enough to have a pretty good feel for a good group of people that we can rely on, and we don't have to. Last thing you want to do, and I've been there. You probably have too. You've been on set, and that director, man, nobody can do anything right. Nobody can say the right thing. I was on one movie production, and this guy was a tyrant. He tried to make everybody scared of him. He was the director, and I was under him, and he actually threw me under the bus. But
Wow.
there was one scene with a guy in a wheelchair, and we took 17 takes. And I finally asked him, "What are you looking for?" Because he was supposed to be directing the talent, and I was on the camera. And I finally stopped him. I said, "You have 17 takes of him saying those same lines. What are you looking for? And how long is it going to be till you get are you going to explain to him?" And that's one of the things that everybody on set said. He doesn't tell us what he wants. He says action, and then he doesn't tell us, if we did it right, if we did it wrong. He just says, do it over. Wait a minute. If there's no correction, then why are we doing it over? To give you the same thing you've got again. So, but you just kind of have to work with people like that, and oh well. Lesson learned.
Yeah, I remember a story I heard of was it David Prowse or on the Star Wars set, or Steven Spielberg, whatever. Anyway, he was doing this long shot. He kept doing over, and they said, "How long are you going to be doing this shot? Like, can we get on?" He said, I do what I want to do. Don't tell me what to do." And he started yelling at them, said, "If I want to spend 3 hours on the scene, we'll spend 3 hours on the scene." So he was just like, like
Yeah.
he was the one that he was the director, I believe. I don't know if Steven Spielberg or whatever, but it was on the Star Wars set. And he said, "Don't tell me what to do. I can do it as long as I want. I'm the one that, pays you, whatever." So yeah, you don't tell a director, "Why are you doing this so long?" Like I'm wanting to shoot the next scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes it can be frustrating, especially if you don't know what they're looking for. What what do you want me to do here? What can I do
I know.
different to give you what you want?
Yeah.
But
And I can't remember this one other movie. It took them a week to film, and all it was the actress was walking up the stairs, and the guy was walking, and then they met on the stairs, and they started talking about. I think they were lawyers, whatever. But they kept doing. It took a week for them just to climb up the stairs and meet and do that scene up the stairs. And I'm like, what the heck? Why did it take you a week? I don't know. They have like something they want or what they're doing. I don't know. It's so like.
yeah.
Well, it's been a week just for a 10-second scene. Like
Yeah.
really
That's
ridiculous.
when I would have said, okay, can I be creative for just a second? Let me film these guys coming up this side right here, straight down, just look at their feet coming up the stairs, and then cut. And then film these guys over here coming up those stairs. And then say cut, so you can see both sides, different angles, switch to that, switch to this, cut back and forth. And then let them do the dialogue at the top. Why does it have to be a one shot,
I don't know, but
And
the director's HDT, whatever you call it, or I don't know. They're just trying to find something and said, "That's it, cut. This is what I want." I said, "What?" Or they might, I don't know. Many of these bloopers and things that have happened throughout the films have been kept in. A lot of the bloopers, and they said that's like the whole. If you're
yeah,
familiar with the Dick Van Dyke Show, remember when he comes through the door and he trips?
trips,
That was
yeah,
not supposed to happen, but
right.
they kept it.
And it was in every episode, the
Yeah,
beginning of
yeah.
every show.
Except there were
Yeah,
a few times when he went up and he missed it, and then he moved over.
yeah,
That was
went
the way
around.
it was supposed
Yeah,
to be. Yeah,
right,
but yeah,
right. Yeah, yeah.
um,
That's fun stuff.
yeah. What impact, Jeff, do you hope your work has on audiences? Like, what do you want them to take away?
We both together want to film stuff that makes a difference. We are part of the faith community, so we certainly love to be involved in projects that exemplify our faith, and we won't do any projects that are antithetical to that. I don't do nudity and heavy language. I don't do anything like that. So I like to keep my productions family friendly. While and I think there's ways of doing that too. Some people say, well, you have to show the grittier side of the world in order to show the redemption, and that's true to a point. But there's other ways. There's other ways to do that. So I like to be involved in projects that make a difference. Projects that we can sink our teeth into creatively, and be able to just put out some good stuff that people look at and say, wow, that's cool. And with Two Pink Lines and some of the other stuff we've done, we don't want somebody to say, oh, that's cool, or that's okay. We don't want okay. Okay's not good enough. It's got to be wow, or that's excellent, or because Sherry and I both have agreed to pursue excellence in what we do. Whatever we do, it's going to have to be good, or we don't want to do it. We want to pursue excellence. So that's a big driving factor of what we do, and being able to do good quality video and her music or my video or whatever kind of blending it is or whatever. We want it to be definitely relevant to the community, and definitely want it to be want it to have the wow factor.
So, Jeff, if somebody came up to you and said, "I love your movies, Jeff," this and that, what advice would you give to aspiring cinematographers or the future Jeff Yarbroughs or Jane Yarbroughs out there?
Just go do it. Just, if you have a phone and that's the only camera you've got, then write you a little tiny script. Get out with your friends and start doing something. The first one won't be good. My first feature-length film, it went to, she took it to Hollywood. She had it run for 3 weeks in the Chinese theater there so that it could qualify for an Academy Award, which of course it did not. But they chewed us up and spit us out. Did not have kind things to say about my cinematography on my first movie, which I had to agree with them. But it was a start, and I hit the ground running and started learning as I went. And as I said, I studied with the top cinematographers and directors of photography and directors. And if I had to volunteer on their set without being paid, I worked. I wanted to know. I did the, I, whatever you call that, paid my dues, so to speak. So if you've got a vision for filmmaking, then don't let anything stop you. Well, I can't shoot a movie because I don't have a camera. You got a phone? You can shoot something. Start a YouTube channel and put what you do up there. There has been more than just a few times when somebody big has saw somebody that shot something small, and they put it on YouTube and said, "Hey, I want you to come work for me." That is definitely a possibility. That happens. And so don't let anything hold you back. Certainly study everything you can. If you can go to film school, get a film degree. If you can, do that. If you cannot, like I could not at the time with all the things I had going, then I studied with all the best people that I could get on their set, and I learned that way. But constantly be learning, constantly be looking at the next style of storytelling, and just get out there and tell your story.
That's true. I'm thinking of starting my own film studio and just writing scripts and finding actors, or using AI to find my own actors in there, and using prompts, and then inserting myself in there, so at least it's not like you. I don't know very many people who are willing to act, but I know my brother was. He was an extra. He was in like 40, 50 movies,
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
and yeah, I had a lot of family who were behind the scenes in movies, and my brother and I shot a movie like back like in the '90s, which is still in the it still hasn't been edited. They got movies out there right now in Hollywood that have not even been released yet. They
Yeah.
shot it like 30, 40 years ago, and they haven't been. So same here.
Yeah.
But that's
Yeah.
okay.
Well,
But
you need to get that out and put that together. You need to get that going.
yeah, but he's yeah, I know. But I'd rather just do my own stuff, and
Yeah.
I have a few good ideas I want to start, and I just that's why I like to talk to people like you and other filmmakers and actors, and find out exactly what, like, I can learn from you, right?
Yeah. Well, and one of the things that I'm working on now, as I have a feature length script that I'm working on now. And I stayed out of the script writing world for a long time. I had 2 or 3 stories floating around in my head. One is a true life story that happened to my kids. One of my kids almost got shot by a SWAT team.
Wow.
So a true story that and some other stuff that's floating around in my head. So I finally got to the point where I couldn't stand anymore. I've got to write this down. So I started getting some books. I got some audio books. I drive a lot, so I listen to several different authors. Some of the top authors that, when it comes to screenplays and writing a script. And so I started studying how to do that. So I'm, halfway through a script on a film right now called Crane Heist Revenge. So, and that's, my wife says it's going to be a blockbuster because I've told her all about the details, and other people have said that it's hitting all of the major points that you want to hit in a blockbuster film. So, this guy, Brian Schneider, wrote a book called Save the Cat. And it talks about all of the points that are in a major blockbuster film that you see on screen in the local theater. Each one of those has a specific formula that you have to follow. You can deviate a little bit here and there, but if you deviate much, it will not make it. It's a proven formula for success. So that and several other authors, and I'm taking that to heart. So I'm in the middle of writing that. And so, yeah, don't let anything stop you. Study what you can. And I did not want to write a script and have somebody that was a real script writer say, "Yeah, you newbie," and throw it away, not read my script, or some production company, Paramount or Warner Brothers or somebody like that, look at it and just throw it in the trash. I wanted to be professional. I wanted it done right. And again, the pursuit of excellence, I wanted it to be right. So far I'm pleased with the first draft. I know there's corrections that I'm going to do, but, halfway through the first draft. And so I would encourage you, don't let anything stop you. Don't, I'm almost finished with my drone pilot's license as well. So I have a lot of plates spinning right now. I've had a drone for a while, but haven't really used it in you can't use it in any paid gigs, of course, but I can play with it myself. But so I'm finishing up my drone pilot's license as well. So that's coming in the future too.
Well, apart from getting your drone's pilot's license, can you share any future goals or aspirations you have for your career?
I really like this period of time that I have with my wife, and I really enjoy these productions that we're doing. I would kind of like to finish this script, and I would like to see it purchased by somebody big. Um, it's going to be a pretty big budget film. It's going to require a lot of money to make it, as I'm scripting it, to make it look right. So I have that one to finish. A couple of other scripts that I'm working on. One that's a sci-fi script that would be pretty easy to shoot, but it involves spatial travel, kind of like time travel almost, but almost like Back to the Future kind of thing, you know. So got some of those things, and I just enjoy doing stuff with Sherry and us traveling and doing stuff like that. With in my world or her world, and so yeah, that's I'd like to keep going with that and tell people stories, like Two Pink Lines. The family loves us to death for telling their story, and and all their friends, you know, in their community are proud of them for, you know, for Two Pink Lines and stuff. So that's you know, do more movies, more scripts. And do stuff with my sweet wife.
That's great. Thank you, Jeff Yarbrough, everyone. Thank you, Jeff, for being on the podcast. Thank you for your versatility and your dedication, which made you standout figure in the film industry. So from your work behind the camera to your roles in front of it, your contributions are both significant, inspiring, and your commitment to high quality storytelling with Yarbrough Media Productions continues to push the boundaries of filmmaking. Thank you so much, Jeff, for being on the show. Really
Thanks,
appreciate that.
Appreciate your
You're
time.
very welcome. You're welcome. Okay, everyone, end the stream. Wait right there, Jeff. Thank you, everyone.